Hi there, this is Chartbusters. The stock on our radar right now is Karnataka Bank. We have the MD CEO of the company, Mr. Mahabaleshwara MS. He joins us to discuss a whole host of issues. Top of mind, of course, will be the farm loan waivers, because remember, just over the last 3 days, we've had loan waivers announced from Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, even Gujarat and Assam. So, Mr. Mahabaleshwara, first up, if you could tell us what does this do to the credit culture, and secondly, specifically coming on to Karnataka Bank, how much of your loans to the agri sector are less than 2 lakh rupees?
Yeah, see, credit culture and farmers' distress, these are the two important issues which should engage the attention of the policymakers as well as the business managers. And in the past also, this type of loan waiver has been in practice. And of course, since last 2 years, it has got momentum. Most probably on the mainly on account of the farmers' distress also. So all the persons, all the agencies involved in this loan related issues to the farmers, they have to take a very cautious approach. Definitely, to a certain extent, it may have a dent on the loan culture, but equally important is the farmers' distress. Unless and until all the stakeholders find a long-lasting solution, this type of temporary aberrations, especially in the financial sector, would continue, and this is the responsibility of all the stakeholders there.
Let's take that point forward, Mr. Mahabaleshwara. What is your exposure out of your total book? How much comes in from these states that just went to election? That's Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. If you could give us some details on that. And out of that, how much of those loans are to farmers below that 2 lakh rupees? Both those two questions. One is exposure to these states. Second is how much from those states fall under this particular category of sub 2 lakh?
Yeah, Karnataka Bank as a whole, see, we have about 17% of our total advances is lent to agricultural sector. And out of this 17%, about 500 crores is eligible for this loan waiver in Karnataka, because Karnataka government announced this loan waiver scheme up to 2 lakhs for the restructured advances and the overdue advances and the NPA agricultural advances. This was around 500 crores, and that process is still on. And as far as overall advances, agricultural advances, my major exposure, around 80% of my agricultural advances exposure is confined to state of Karnataka only. And out of that, I said around 500 crores is the distressed loan, wherein we are eligible for reimbursement in the form of waiver by the state of Karnataka. So, as far as Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan is concerned, it is very, very insignificant. We don't have major exposure to the agricultural. And even if there is an impact, it is very small impact.
All right. You said 500 crores of your agricultural book. How much is that in terms of absolute numbers?
Yeah, that is the absolute number itself. 500 crores.
No, 17% of your total book. What's your total book?
Total book is around 17% of my total advances.
So what we're trying to get, sir, the number, the 17% is equivalent to how much? Or what is your total book? Then we can drive those numbers.
Our total advances book is around 52,000 crores.
Okay.
Of that 52,000 crores, so 17% is around 8,000
crores. 9,000 so 8,000 crores is to the agricultural space.
Of that 9,000 crores, around 80% is in the state of Karnataka.
Right.
And of that 500 crores is in the distressed state.
Okay, so less than 1%, 0.1% if you must is under farm loan waiver. But if you could also tell us, you were saying that Karnataka farm loan waiver was announced 1 year ago, and those are receivable. So if you could tell us, for the banking system right now, does the banking system lose? Do the governments pay the banking system? And secondly, how long is this process? Because first you have to identify the farmers, you have to waive off their loans, and then the government reimburses. How long is this process usually?
The process should be, I think, about 2 to 6 months process if meticulously everything is planned. But in the initial stage, there were certain uncertainties. Now, in the state of Karnataka, the government of Karnataka as well as SLBC, they have almost identified the farmers. As I said, they have put three major areas. One is the restructured agricultural advances. Second one is the overdue agricultural advances. Third one is the NPA agricultural advances. And of course, the limit up to 2 lakhs. So since these guiding principles are very clear now, I think thereafter should not be a major issue in disbursement of this particular eligible amount.
Okay, Mr. Mahabaleshwara, so what you're telling us is you don't expect any big hiccup. You're expecting to receive most of this money and the system is getting more or less streamlined. So let's leave the farm loan waiver picture behind us for the time being. Let's talk about credit offtake. How much of your book, sir, has exposure to real estate, if you could tell us that? Because, you know, there are various rumors or market talk that the real estate space is under some distress. How much of your book is exposed out there? And give us a sense of credit offtake to the infra space, to the real estate space as well.
See, commercial real estate, my total exposure is around 5.58% of my total loan book. So, of this 5.58, this amounts to around 2,888 crores, the total commercial real estate exposure.
Yes.
And of this 2,887 crores, my NPA is around 83 crores, which is around 0.16% of the total advances. So, that is the position of the commercial real estate. And see, one good thing for Karnataka Bank is to any of the sector we are not overexposed because our credit policy, the exposure limit, everything is perfectly laid out.
Okay.
And accordingly, we are ensuring that we don't breach that the exposure limit.
Right.
And even in other sectors also, say for example, the gems and jewelry, which had seen a significant hit in the past. So our total exposure itself is around 0.35% the total loan book.
Okay.
Similarly, textiles also, we have just 2.47% of the total exposure.
So you have diversified yourself, so that is good news.
Yeah,
Right,
cement and cement products also, my total exposure is not more than 1.7.
So that's fair point, Mr. Mahabaleshwara. You know, you have a fairly diversified book. Let's talk about.
What we are doing is we are focusing more on the housing loan and the MSME.
Exactly. So, just want to talk about the housing part of the business itself. You've tied up with Paisa Bazaar. One of your goals for FY19 was to redesign the home loan product. So, two-part question. One, on account of this this initiative that you've taken, how much more can you grow your home loan book by? And secondly, why not inorganically look at some of these home loan assets by the NBFCs? They are out selling.
Yeah, both are very interesting, and I think your question as well as my action, I should say that both are on the same page. The first question is concerned housing loan. Under our transformation journey with the BCG, what we have done is we have totally revamped the housing loan delivery channel. So now I am implementing housing loan version 2, in a sense wherein the housing loans are directly sourced from the intended borrowers, not only from my field staff, but also from DSCAs, BSCAs, market referral agents, that is MRAs, fintech companies and all. I have already tied up with Bank Bazaar and Paisa Bazaar as well as Probe 42 as of now. So with this, what is happening is my sanctions growth in the housing loan itself as of now is at 43%, whereas the balance outstanding has grown at a rate of 20%. So for the current year, I am very optimistic that my housing loan portfolio will have a very healthy growth of around 25% plus. That is the terminal numbers. Whereas the sanctions may go even above 50%. In the housing loan, what happens, since the sanctioned amount will not be able to get released at a single installment, so over a period this release happens.
Okay.
And that is as far as the housing loan this sanction is concerned.
Mr. Mahabaleshwara,
yes, we are also taking some exposure that is for the inorganic growth.
Yes.
So a lot of inquiries that we are getting from the beneficiaries of the NBFCs who already have their own housing loan in their NBFCs, and we are now taking over those accounts. This is at the account-wise level. But I am also taking some keen interest in portfolio buyout from these NBFCs.
How much money, sir?
How much money, sir, will you spend? Have you already bought some part of that?
Right now, it is a very small amount, maybe about 1% of my total loan book.
Okay.
But I think within another 4 months, we should be able to get about 3 to 5% of our loan book from this portfolio buyout.
Okay.
If there is a very competitive rate and a quality portfolio, that is what we are looking forward.
Okay.
Yeah. Simultaneously, I am also focusing more on the MSME also, wherein a very good track record is there. As of now, my total loan book of MSME is around 27.58%.
Right.
And it is growing at a rate of around 38%. That is a positive thing, because we will be able to have very good exposure below 15 crores. That is what we are aiming for.
Absolutely.
Things are moving in right direction. Thanks for your keen interest in this number.
Pleasure, sir, to speak to you. Thanks so much for joining in today. All the best for the festive season, and all the best for the quarter and the remainder of this fiscal as well. Thanks so much for joining in, Mr. Mahabaleshwara. Well, we'll slip in a short break, come back, continue our focus on the market. Stay with us.